back to Salty Sunshine Reality Recap with our special guest, Natalie.
Hi. How are you?
Howdy.
Huh?
How's it going?
It's going good. How about
I
you?
haven't talked to you in a little over a month as far as reality recap, so we're really over stimulated with too much topics.
Lots to discuss, that's for sure.
Oh
Yep.
my god. So it's gonna be our last reality recap of the year.
Woo!
Oh my
2020.
god. End of the year. So I'm feeling a little festive. I put on a necklace,
I love it.
Thanks.
It's
It's my cowgirl. I like to feel Western necklace. Before we get into reality recap, Natalie's a hairdresser. So is there any tips or what are the girls doing for the holiday season as far as hair? Is there any trend?
I don't know if there's any trends as far as hair right now. I'm trying to think. I feel like people are just keeping it more simple, and I'm still seeing the bows in people's hair. Like a lot of people are doing like
Bows?
yeah, like you know how they have like really pretty like bows that you just kind of clip into the hair and they're doing like half up, half down. I feel like that's really cute.
Okay, that is a trend.
Yeah, that's
Because I saw it on, that store Kish,
mm-hmm.
Kitsch.
Yeah.
I was looking on their holiday shop this morning and I saw a lot of bows.
Yeah. Lots of bows
Nice.
there. So I feel like maybe pull it half up, half down, a little bit in the front, leave out, some bang and put a little bow in the back and it's super festive.
Oh my god, how cute! I'm gonna do it. I don't know if I could do it because depends
You
how
can.
much hair I want to have look like I have that day. But I'll try. I'll try. Okay, so reality recap. Just a little note: Real Housewives of Dubai, which you're not a fan of, and a lot of people apparently aren't because it was put on pause.
Oh, okay. It was. Wow.
I could never work for Barbo because I like the boring shows.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
that's put on
No,
pause.
Dubai is on pause. I was thinking of Potomac, but because I'm not a fan of Potomac either. But yeah,
Yeah,
Dubai is on pause. Yep.
I've never seen Potomac. Isn't that funny? I already know I won't like it, so I don't even bother.
Not gonna bother.
Also, bad news for me, good news for you, and the people that like these people. So Vanderpump was canceled.
Uh-huh.
Not canceled. The current cast was fired altogether, and they're bringing in new people.
Okay. A reboot.
A reboot, which we'll see what happens, right? Because the reason why they were so successful is because they were such good friends and that vibe. And like maybe the problem is when you start something later on, like people just come on for the hype, and that doesn't make for good TV.
Yeah.
So hopefully these people are genuine. I don't know if they're actual friends, but we'll see. But the bad news is Sheena and Lala and maybe Schwartzy are going to appear on The Valley, ruining my favorite show.
Yep. I know. I know you're not happy about that, especially with Lala.
No, thank you. Anyways, I mean, how am I going to watch it now?
No. You're still watch because then we need to discuss it. So you'll just have to watch
I'm
it
going to
and
have to hate watch.
you're gonna hate watch it. You're just gonna be like, that's how I am with RHONY right now. So
That's so funny. So many people, no one likes it. No one likes RHONY. Nobody. But me.
you know what it is? It's the same with Vanderpump, whereas they're gonna bring a new cast on and there's already been a blueprint for how people act. And so like even with Vanderpump, it was so authentic and like you had so much chemistry in this real friend group and it was just so like nobody had done it before. It was a new show. So it was interesting. And so they're going to bring a new cast on and it's going to be people that are just, trying to play it up and they already have the blueprint of what to do. So they're going to be cheating on each other and making up the fights. And that's what's hard about reality TV now. And that's what I think. I think it's hard because it's already been done. Everything's kind of been done. So people, they come on and they make
I
things.
think if people kept it real, if they actually like pretended the cameras were there and were themselves, maybe I'm the only one that would like it. But I feel like that authenticity is what people like to see. I think that people have a problem not being real. Like they're looking for the drama. They start fights over something dumb. No one cares. Like that's not real. So I think that's a problem. If they don't focus on just staying like who you are.
Right.
But I don't know.
Culture didn't help that either. So where people I think are less real now because they're afraid of how it's going to be perceived and they're afraid of offending others. So anyway, people are just not as authentic on reality shows nowadays.
So keeping on topic with the Valley, Lala was on. Do you know Jeff Lewis?
Mm-hmm.
So Lala was on Jeff Lewis. She said that she's never going to be friends with Ariana again. Probably they haven't spoke. She hasn't spoke to Katie. She basically doesn't talk to anyone. Probably like just Sheena.
Yeah.
So she's on the outs with everyone. And then Brittany is supposedly opening up a new bar.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know. I don't know.
I don't know why she'd want to. I mean, I would do so many other things but open up a bar,
I know. Speaking
right?
of, the Vanderpump Tom and Schwartz, Tom and Sandy's or whatever they called it, closed.
RIP to that.
I wonder why, because people probably go in there just for fun.
I
I
would,
wonder why they closed.
me too. I'm curious. I don't know what happened there.
Hmm.
I'm sure we'll hear about it on the Valley.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I wonder what Tom and well, they still have Tom Toms. Is that still open?
I think so, yeah, because that's under Lisa, and I think Lisa will probably keep that open until the rent's too high and they'll have to close it.
They have like a small percentage of that, so I don't know how good that goes for them.
Oh,
And then Brittany was dating Jax's friend, and Jax was super pissed. So I heard, so you know how he went to rehab?
yeah.
So I heard the reason that happened is because he found out that she had gone on a date. Like they kind of were separate. Brittany's super messy. I've already said, I don't ever think, I think it takes two to tango. So even though one might be a worse perpetrator, if you're in something for that many years, you're obviously part of the problem, whether you're abusive or not. Like there's elements of you that are part of the problem. So I do think Brittany's toxic. And so they were separated, but they were still hooking up and sleeping. And so stuff like that. And then he found out something and he lost his crap and he started to throw things in the house and got really violent. So because of that, he went to rehab.
Mm.
And so, yeah, that's what happened with that. And she's like, I don't care. Like, I can hook up with whoever. Like, so he gave her full custody. So, I mean, the Valley's going to be really good, I feel.
It's going to be a good season.
Who would have thought, right? Because before the Valley, Jax was out here like, and Brittany too, like, oh, we're better than ever. We're so healthy. It's just like, what?
Famous last words. I feel like everyone that says that, the next month they're announcing their separation or divorce or whatever it is.
Yeah. It's almost like, then why would you go on a reality TV show? Speaking of Jeff Lewis, so Bryn was just on Watch What Happens Live. Did you see that she called Jeff Lewis a pig?
I didn't see that. No.
So apparently, when Aaron was on Jeff Lewis a long time ago, he asked her, like, how does Bryn make her money? And Aaron didn't say anything. She just said no comment. Like, she didn't really answer. And then Jeff is like, I think she has sugar daddies or whatever. So something to that effect. And so because of that, Bryn goes on Watch What Happens Live now and says, I don't roll around with pigs. And I thought that was so aggressive on her end. A, you're a reality star. B, he's a podcaster, and who cares what he says? It's not like he's saying, I know this for a fact. It's like a stupid opinion, and like that's what people do with podcasts. They have opinions, like they could be changed, it could be wrong. I
Yeah.
just thought that was I thought that was aggressive on her end.
Mm-hmm. And that's her personality for sure. And Jeff Lewis, I mean, he's big in that world of Bravo and the Housewives. So I'm like, you probably should, tread lightly when it comes to that.
Well, I don't personally like Jeff Lewis. I don't think he's a nice person. I just don't value the things he says. But with that said, if he says something poorly about me and I was on a show, I think I'd just be like, he obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. Like I would like brush it off like this guy's a fool. I
Yeah.
think calling him a pig is so like direct and insulting. Like it's so unnecessary. I feel it made her look bad. In other words, not him.
Yeah, I know. And Jeff, I agree with you. I feel like he's entertaining, but I think he's an awful person. I mean, really,
I think
honestly.
he's an awful person, and that was solidified with the drama he had with Heather McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he really stabbed her in the back, and I don't know.
Did you listen to the podcast that when Heather had Dr. Drew and I think his name is Gage is Jeff's ex with the baby. They had the little girl together.
Wait a second. I didn't realize. I heard that episode, and I didn't realize the other guy was Jeff's ex.
That's Jeff's ex.
I had no idea.
So that's what they were referring to. Yeah, that's Jeff Lewis's
So they
ex.
were talking about narcissists. So they were calling Jeff Lewis a narcissist. Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and now I look at it through different eyes.
Yeah, you have to listen to that again. It was so good because that I was the same. I'm like, wait a second, is this Jeff Lewis's? And that's why they were keeping everything kind of like, general. They were, keeping it vague. But yeah, it's a good podcast.
I
But
thought
yeah,
it was interesting because when they first released it, it was as a Patreon episode, like a subscriber episode, and then all of a sudden it was available for everybody. Like, what was that about? Because why did we hear it? Because I'm not part of the subscribers.
yeah, me neither.
They probably did it with subscribers, like keeping it hush hush, and they're like, forget it. I want to cut it. Like, I want to get at them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. Going back to the episodes. I mean, I like it because it's vanilla. Not a lot happens, but what did happen is that whole prank. Erin loves to do a prank. Oh my god, her and her stupid. They're like the Kardashians over here doing stupid pranks. And Rebecca Minkoff pretended she was pregnant. She let this rumor fly that she was pregnant with another guy's baby. So dumb. And everybody was like, "What?" And then it was a prank. So that happened.
Wasn't it that like she didn't know who she was pregnant with? It was like, I don't really know. And I was like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
if it was her husband or if it was a guy she was sleeping with.
It just shows you what a snooze fest this show is because they're just literally making shit up. I mean, it's sad.
But Erin, she's been doing pranks since the beginning. Like she got in a fight last time with Uba because of her stupid prank with the phone. Like it's her thing, so she wanted to incorporate Rebecca into it. Poor Rebecca. I thought it was interesting when Erin and Rebecca were out to lunch and they were talking about Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca was like, "She's Jewish, but she's a Scientologist. Is that a thing?" I thought Scientology was your like religion.
I don't know. What I heard her say on the show is Scientology is something that like helps people and, because they have to go through all this like cleansing and that kind of thing. So maybe it's something that you can incorporate with your religion, but I don't know.
I thought it was like more like that. This is what you believe in, and like that's it.
Yeah, I'm not sure because everyone's a cult. So I feel like
Right.
people get so, and then I think just like anything, like there's probably good and bad sides to to all of it.
Yeah.
So the
I thought
extreme,
that was interesting because she's like, it's like Soul Cycle. It's like exercising. It's like good for you. I'm like, huh?
yeah, yeah,
That's not what I've heard. But yeah,
that's how you're portraying it at least. So, but they're all, did you notice at that one lunch, they were all interested. Like, we really want to hear about the Scientology thing, but she was, I don't
yeah.
know, she's just
She
not.
obviously is still part of it, and she has not had negative experiences with it, so she's not going to badmouth it.
We're not going to get
And
any.
she's Jewish, so I don't know. She has like her religion, so it doesn't really affect her.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
would be an issue with her religion for sure. So that's interesting.
I thought so. I did hear Rebecca Minkoff was on the Skinny Confidential. Was it
Hmm.
Skinny Confidential? I
Yes, watch it or I didn't listen to it, but I saw that she was. Did you
She
listen?
was. And so they were talking about how she came up and everything. And she's like, yeah, I'm on. She's like, I agreed to do RHONY because it is so vanilla and the girls are not like cutthroat. If not, I would never go on to like a Beverly
Yeah,
Hills or anything because she knows how vanilla it is. That's why she
yeah,
agreed to go on. And it's obviously a business move
right,
because people forget about her purses and now they remember. So
for
that
sure.
makes sense.
It's a huge platform for people, so I don't blame people for going on there. They should have just revamped the whole show instead of it being, Real Housewives of New Jersey. Of New York. It should have been, maybe Housewives of Manhattan or whatever. Maybe they should have just revamped the whole brand of it.
But why? I like it the way it is.
It was just so good before. I feel like you can't bring these people
I
who don't have
disagree. At
issues.
the end of last New York, I was just like, I'm so over these old ladies. Like, stop
Yeah,
showing me your panties. I don't want, you're drunk and you're showing me your underwear. Stop.
I love Sonia. Sonia's one of my favorites. I know you hate her, but like that was so fun
I
for me.
don't hate her. I just don't, I'm embarrassed for her. I'm watching, I feel like I'm watching something I shouldn't be watching.
Yeah. You know what it was too is they cut Dorinda, they cut Sonia. No, not Sonia. They cut Dorinda. They cut what's her name? Tinsley, who wasn't, a huge asset, but still. And then they got rid of Bethany. So they got rid of like three major people and it just it ruined the show. And so I just feel like they should have kept some of the older people in there and then brought people in.
I
But
was over them. I
yeah,
mean, it ran its course, I feel. I like these new girls. I love that they don't tear each other apart. I love that they're classy. I love that they're cute, that they dress well. Like you learn about their I love it. I actually love RHONY. Is it the most entertaining? No. Am I like glued to the TV because like there's some no, but it's comforting. It's like it's
I
comforting.
guess we'll give it some more time. That's kind of like Salt Lake. Like I wasn't super into Salt Lake, and now I do really like it because I feel like there are some, genuine friendships there that have
Totally.
over.
Totally.
So we'll see.
So the next interesting thing on New York, I think, is Jess and her husband. Her husband
Love that.
cracks. I love them. They're so funny. I think she's amazing. I could so be friends with her. And her husband, with his food and his so unseriousness, I mean, I would divorce him, but I like him. I think he's funny. I could never be married to him. But when they go to the therapy session on Zoom and he's like eating tacos,
What is with this guy? Like he just needs to constantly be eating. It's hilarious.
listen,
He's
his name is
great.
Pavitt.
Let me tell you, he's just always eating, and I'm like, that food is just going right through you.
It's not only that, it's like, can you be like serious for a second? Like
Mhm.
like, can you like take me serious for a second?
That would drive me nuts. Nuts.
How do you deal with that? Like,
I have that a little bit in my marriage. I'm not going to lie. Your cousin is like,
I feel like Jesse's such a talker.
he is. He has a really serious side to him, but
Oh,
most
but
of
he does joke a lot. Yeah,
he
you're
jokes
right.
all the time, but
I can
it's
see that.
in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Totally. And then she wants to have another baby and he
Yeah.
doesn't. So they're at that crossroads. I don't think they should have more kids.
No, I don't either. I feel like twins is enough, and he's probably traumatized by two kids at once, and I would be too. So I
I
would say
mean,
close that
it's
door.
not that bad. And they have the money. But the
Yeah,
way they spend money, I think, is probably concerning to him because it's a lavish lifestyle.
of course. And you never really know how much money these people have. A lot of it is not saying that it is, a lie, but some of it is for show a lot of times. And then they always have some kind of tax issues going on these people. There's always stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about.
I
So,
mean, Erin's husband sold their Bitcoin behind her back.
yeah.
And look at it now.
You wonder
She's,
what's going on there.
but she's pregnant. You know that in real life?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sad because she's pregnant and her dad just passed.
Oh, that is sad.
And they were super close.
Mm-hmm.
They were so close. So that's really sad for her to be pregnant during
Huh.
that. There's not
And
much to say about the other people.
yeah. Aaron's
Although, what's her name? Raquel and Mel, the lesbian couple. I
uh-huh.
really like Raquel. I like her family, her story with her dad and her mom and the dynamic. I think it's super interesting. And you could tell they really love each other. So that's a really nice relationship. I do enjoy watching them.
Yeah, that's genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
And Uba, nothing and say nothing.
pigeons, pigeons.
Just,
She's funny. He's too much. I'm like, Uba, stop. Like, it's just too much after a while.
yeah.
Too
And then
much. But
and Bryn interviewing her ex-boyfriend to be a sperm donor. Oh, God.
I like Bryn a little bit, but I can see where she's so over the top, like so much to where
I
it's like,
can't. I
calm
can't
down.
stand the way she talks. But she did come out. I don't know if you saw the last one. She had her therapist or a
Yeah.
book. She's writing a book so about abuse, and she got assaulted apparently. So that's not great, and that's sad for her. But I mean, it still doesn't make the way she talks any less
What
annoying.
do you think about that? Because I mean, I don't know. It's not that I don't believe her. I just feel like it's maybe a
A
little
cop
mad.
out.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just feel like because she seems so overly sexual, and maybe that's part of it, where she just has some weird, I don't know, there's something weird going on there. I don't know how I feel about all that. Not saying that she's lying about it, but it was sad to watch, but I'm thinking, what really happened there?
Well, she didn't really say because what kind of
No,
assault? Like, yeah,
I
I don't
need
know
more.
what kind of assault, but I do think it's not an excuse though. Like your behavior still is your behavior, so like you still have to adjust that,
Yeah,
as an adult. But hopefully, the assault wasn't maybe it wasn't high level 3 or whatever. Maybe it was something less, hopefully. But yeah, she has to work through that, which is,
yeah. And she said she's not dating or anything. I was like, oh, so it must have been bad. I hope that,
Yeah.
she figures all that out.
Yeah, for sure. Um, oh, another Real Housewives of Miami is about to come back, and they were filming overseas, and so Nicole's not coming back. Dr. Nicole,
Okay.
she was my favorite.
She had another baby too.
She had another baby, and she was the only like rational, sane one there. So I really liked her. But they're saying she's not coming
I
back
liked her too.
because her boyfriend, fiance, his ex-girlfriend was invited on the show and she's on the new season. I'm like, why would they do her like that?
Ooh.
I wouldn't go back either.
Bravo is, they're not
Messy.
around. It's another Alexis situation. It's like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to stir it up. Yep.
I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, that's not cool. And her dad was hilarious. Didn't he pass away too? Nicole's dad? Something.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That was, I liked that dynamic, just seeing them and hearing about her life. And yeah, I really liked her.
So the last season, that last scene that they had at the restaurant, he was telling her that he wanted to have more kids with his new girlfriend wife, and he's like, ridiculous, right?
Okay.
I hope that lady never got pregnant because he died. So, you know,
I doubt it.
that dynamic between her and her dad gave me so much anxiety. And her mother trying to fluff it up and like smooth it over. I'm like, just stop it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting, but it gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
The whole Teddy Mellencamp of it all, she's not even on the show, but it's like, what do you think? Did we talk? We haven't talked about that.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you tell me first your thoughts?
Okay. So she had an affair with her horse trainer.
Yeah.
And I think the worst part of this is that he was married and he was with her away in Florida while his wife was giving birth to their second child. So I think that's the worst of the whole story. Am I surprised that she had an affair? No. I mean, I don't really care about her or her, I don't know about her life, but I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So now apparently she's living with Kyle.
Oh, see, I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
That
she's
makes a lot
rooming.
of sense though, because Kyle's alone. Now she's alone. Okay.
Yeah. And she's
She's trying to
also,
get back on that show hard. Like she really, really wants.
her and Sheena are of the same ilk. Oh my God. They're so thirsty. They're just so, it's just funny because obviously everybody's thirsty that whoever wants to be on the show, but their thirst just comes through so much stronger.
I know.
It's
I
so
know.
evident. But I don't know. I mean, I don't think she's going to go back on any of the shows because the audience, I don't think, really cares to watch her.
Yeah.
But we'll see what
She,
happens.
she wasn't a fan favorite. That if she was to go back on, because she lives in OC, she should be on OC. And then they should have Heather come on to Beverly Hills. Heather Dubrow.
I don't think Heather would make it. Oh, well, maybe she would. Yeah, she would
All
make it
that.
in Beverly Hills.
Oh yeah, she belongs on Beverly Hills. She's like a fish out of water with OC because all the girls hate on her because she has, she just sold that house for what, $50 million. I mean, she's loaded.
I don't know if she would do well on Beverly Hills because I think the women of Beverly Hills are they're harsher and they're smarter than the OC. And so the OC, I feel like they're on a different level than her. So it's kind of
Yeah,
easy for her to stay apart in her own lane. If she goes into Beverly Hills, I think she would have a harder time.
she would, but I think it would be interesting to watch.
It would. Yeah. Yeah, it would. So let's stay on Beverly Hills. Dorit and PK, Dorit this season, she's just like on fire. She's like, F you, F you, F you. I'm not taking your shit. Get out of my face. Like, I love it. And it just reminds me, it's so common that women, especially, I don't think PK is more than 10 or 15 years older than her. But
Yeah,
when you get with someone like mid 20s, late 20s, early 30s, and then even if they're 10, 15 years older than you, it is sometimes a father-daughter dynamic type of thing. And so you kind of lose your voice no
yeah,
matter how character you have,
right.
whatever character you have, you kind of lose your voice because you defer to the guy. And once you're fed up with his crap, you kind of just unleash on everyone and you're just like, I'm done.
Yep.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that's what happened.
She's she's coming back to her kind of her old self like in the and second season, but she's like in her villain era right now. She's like fuck you to everyone. And sorry, can I cuss?
Yeah. I don't think she's in her villain era. She's in her like truth era.
That too. I think that she's just like, you know what, this is what's going on with me and PK, and I think it's interesting to see the dynamic between those two because obviously they have been fighting and being awful towards each other, and that's all coming out when she's really been pretending like everything's been great lately. You know,
Well, where did
here.
this alcoholism come from? It's like we've never seen him have a problem with alcohol. And all of a sudden, alcoholic. My alcoholism. It's like where? From what?
Yeah, I know. That's interesting. And I mean, I guess he is sober, which is a great thing. But it's interesting how he got sober and the relationship still wasn't working. So that dynamic is
Is
interesting
that
too.
what they said? He got sober but he didn't get sober in their separation?
He got sober before they separated completely, I think. That's what I think happened. And then she has talked about how, it just they were still fighting with each other. So I think when she did the reunion last year and she said, "We're better than ever," which are, the famous last words. Um, she's like, "No, really, we were good because
Yes.
he sober." And so I think what happened was the novelty wore off with the sobriety, and she's like, "Oh, he's still the same person even though he's not drinking." So I think,
And it can happen when you get sober, you get a little more judgmental. So
yeah,
you can like maybe even be nastier sometimes.
I don't think PK is in love with her at all anymore. I think I really, honestly, from watching last episode,
Yeah.
he I think that she like worshipped him before, and I think now she's like so over that. Like she sees
Hmm.
for what he is. I think she has just this like I think she wants to be with PK, but I don't think he wants to be with her anymore. I think that
Interesting.
yeah, and I think sometimes that happens too with people getting sober where they're like, this is not what I thought it was.
Yeah. And when they went and they met for that meal and he's like single PK, it's like ill. That
Yeah.
well then file for divorce. Like what? You
Mm-hmm.
mean separated, right? Because you're still married.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. And Garcelle, bless her heart, I like Garcelle, but her hatred for Dorit, I can't take it. It's just like it's unwarranted. It doesn't make sense. What did she steal your cat? What
Mm-hmm.
happened? Like, why do you? I mean, she annoys you to the point it seems like an ex-husband or something.
Right. I'm starting to not like Garcelle. She used to be one of my favorites, and now I'm realizing that everything with Garcelle is one-sided. It's very much like when she is talking to somebody or she's upset, it's her way or the highway. And so
Yes,
I'm feeling
totally.
like she's going to start phasing out because I don't know what she hates Dorit for either. It doesn't
She
make it.
she's Dorit annoys her, but okay, fine, she annoys you. Like, all
Yeah.
right. Like that doesn't mean she's like the most horrible person and she's wrong about everything. And
Yeah.
um, what's the new girl's name? Bose. Like, how do you say it?
But Bose?
But it's like something else. And this
Yeah.
Bose is short, so
Yeah, it's short for
she seems really cool. She really hit it off with Dorit. Garcelle can't stand it that they hit
I,
it off. She's like, why don't you find her just as annoying as I do?
I love that Dorit has a new best friend, like right off the bat. I think it's great. I'm like, she needs that. She needs
Yeah.
that in her corner.
And a strong, smart one. Like,
Mhm.
not some silly girl.
Yeah.
And then when they go to Bose's house, Dorit and Erica, and this is my pet peeve, like making people take their shoes off when they come in your house. Do you do that?
Sometimes.
It's like, don't invite me over. I don't
Right?
want to be
Or
there.
my shoes. I'm not taking them off.
Like this is part of my outfit. I don't feel the same. I feel like what if my toes like I didn't paint them or I'm
Right.
wearing ugly socks or
Yeah. You forgot to get a pedicure that month. Like, girl, don't make me take off my
and it
shoes.
just makes you feel different. Like you're wearing an outfit and now you don't feel like you're wearing an outfit anymore. You feel like you're in pajamas.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
So I don't like that. Like and you have a lot of money. You could just have your somebody clean the floor when everyone's gone. Like I don't
Mhm.
like that. That gives me the ick. Kathy Hilton. When she walked into that Sutton's party, what was it? The realism. What
The
was
real.
it? Okay, which I hate. I hate those parties. Like, what stress? I mean, I guess I have money. It doesn't matter. But I'm like the stress of having to figure it out. It's like, oh my god. When she walked in and her first thing was to sit down and tell everyone to help her take off her extensions, I was like, what are you doing? Can you please take off my hair for me? Like, what?
Well, then she's saying that she was hot from the hair. I'm like, girl, you're hot from the hair. I mean, she had like a couple clip-in extensions in. I'm like, how is that like raising the temperature?
I had three people trying to take it off her head. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
That was hilarious.
She's interesting.
She is. You wonder if she just, I think she plays it up a little bit, but I do also feel like she is being authentic in a way because she is just kooky. And the Richards sisters are just weird. All of them. They're kooky.
They are, yes. And they don't remind me of my family, obviously, but they do in that way that, like,
yeah.
What's wrong? Hello? What are we talking about here? What is this conversation? Like when she was when Kyle, who was it, Kyle and Erica, and she's like, Mauricio looks like he could be your dad. First of all, no, he doesn't. Like, no, he doesn't. But like, what? It's like
she just does things, and Kyle just looks at her like, stop. You're so.
Yeah. Yeah, but that does remind me of certain family members. You're like, why do you say these things? Like, it's so weird.
I know.
And then Sutton, when I don't know, her and Kyle were talking about their issues, and Sutton is dying on the hill that she was not off that day and the other season, that she was completely on something or drunk. Remember when her and Kyle fought last season and she was being really weird? Sutton invited her over and she was off.
Name them.
Yes.
Drunk. She's
drunk. Dying on the hill that there was nothing wrong with her, and it's all in Kyle's head, and she made her look a certain way. It's like, there was something wrong with you, and the whole world saw it. Like, she's dying on that hill that there was nothing wrong with her.
Yeah.
No.
She needs to make merch for Name 'em because that was hilarious. Name 'em.
She loves to interject her divorce, her marriage into everybody's story. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah. You think about her giving Kyle advice on filing. I mean, in some ways I agree with Sutton, but I'm also like, it's not your place to, I mean, you can give advice, but still it's like, just let them figure it out at the end of the day. Like, it's not an easy thing. It's not a black and white issue.
Well, it is. Are you together? You're not together. If you're not together, file divorce. I think if she would have just said, if you're not going to get back together, you need to file divorce. Like, this could linger forever.
Yeah.
And leave it at that. But her angle was more, you got to save, protect your money. And I think that's where I don't agree, because she had such a money viewpoint with her divorce.
Yeah.
That's how she's giving it to Kyle, but that's not Kyle's issue with Mauricio. It's like, they don't have a terrible dynamic. Yeah. It seems like they're pretty cool, but they should definitely file.
Yeah.
And keep it copacetic. And
I think it's difficult for people that have a lot of money, and I think sometimes they stay together longer, like a Kyle and Mauricio situation, because they don't want to divide things up, because they did build all this together. I hope it works out for Kyle to where everything stays, civil, and he just gives her whatever it is. But and I feel it will, but I don't know.
That is such bullshit. If Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen can get divorced in 30 days, anybody can.
Right.
They don't have more money than Gisele and Tom Brady. When people want to get it done, they get it done. Everything else is bullshit. And it's just like, stop it. Just get it done. Like, yeah. What are you doing? Like,
with Sutton, there was a huge power dynamic with her and her ex. So she's kind of projecting that onto Kyle, which it's not to say that it couldn't happen, but I do feel like Mo will just give her whatever it is. He's not going to.
They're like easier people. They don't have that whatever in between them. And Sutton told, when they're on that bus, I think she's like, well, it changes. He stopped sending me flowers. It's like, why do you need your ex to send you flowers? And Erica's like, you got to check. Shut up.
Yeah. She's like, you're getting $300,000 a month. I think that's how much she gets a month. I'm like, girl, sign me up. Like, just be quiet. You don't need flowers.
It's so wild. But Kyle and Mauricio, that scene together on the couch was so awkward. I was like, I don't want to be watching this. Like, what are we doing? It was weird.
Awkward for a while. It's like, she needs to stop filming with him. It's just awkward.
It is awkward.
I wonder, what do you think happened there? I mean, I feel like he cheated a few times. he found like text messages or something, and maybe it wasn't full on physical, but meaning it probably was, but maybe she didn't find out that if it really happened. But I think it was more like emotional stuff that she was finding out about.
I mean, I do think he cheated. Why we don't know who he cheated with is interesting because you would think that would leak. But
Yeah,
but I feel like he's cheated a bunch of times, at least more than once.
I feel like it's been going on for a long time, and she's been uh like basically covering it up or
And
just
maybe it's someone he works with, and that's why she won't come
Mhm.
out and say anything.
Yeah,
But it's so funny the contrast of her like, get off my man, don't even look at him. Like she was so like,
yeah, that video I sent you.
yeah, like she was so like into him and like he was like her everything. And to go from that to
It's sad.
like stranger type of thing, not stranger, like more like brother sister type of thing.
Mhm.
It's so crazy how life can change. Like everything could just change.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like it is what it is. Like, what are you going to do?
She's rich, I'll tell you that. So she's going to be just fine. She'll find herself a new man or woman. We don't know which way she wants to go right now.
Being in that world, though, I feel like it's not easy to find a,
No,
a genuine partner.
no.
I mean, it's hard everywhere, girl.
I I can only imagine in that world too, because it's such a smaller circle and they all kind of, intermingle with each other. So it might be hard.
It's hard. And then you have money, and like it's weird. And the fame and the reality TV. Dorit and Kyle's fight, though, Kyle's like explanation of why she's so angry, she keeps going back to things like everyone's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, what do you think that's really about? Like, she can't really be mad at her for these things.
She has no reason. The whole BravoCon thing was so lame and it was a
Yeah.
joke. They were showing clips of it, and even Erica was like, you
Yeah.
know, Erica is like, I don't agree with this, then
Yeah.
I mean, it was just even Dorit at that dinner was like, Erica even saw the clip and was thinking that it was going to be something to where I totally threw you under the bus and I didn't. And then she has no explanation. And Dorit has all these, she came out and said, there was this incident, this. So she had like 4 or 5 things. And I'm like, I'm totally team Dorit on this. They need to squash it. And Kyle needs to be
Just needs to be like, I don't know what's wrong with me. You annoy the shit out of me for some reason. And that's it.
want to be friends. I think it's like Kyle kind of is like with Garcelle, like over here, they're just annoyed with Dorit. So there's something about it, but
Mm-hmm.
I just need to squash it for the show. And I've heard that they're talking again and they're okay. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. I mean, it could be something that she won't say because, Kyle, I feel Kyle, like you said, like that family's very toxic, the
Yeah,
dynamics, I feel. So I think like the way relates to people and the way she has conversations, it's like she says something that she doesn't mean. She's thinking something else. She won't like it doesn't make sense. Like I think with her sister too. That's why they're always talking, not talking, talking, not talking. So I think she did that with Dorit, and she won't tell her what actually bothers her.
I agree.
Yeah.
You're really right about that. She's doing exactly what she does to her sisters to Dorit. And so I feel like when she gets close to somebody and then they annoy her, she finds all these reasons not to like them that aren't really that relevant or anything that's really happened. So yeah, she's just
Yeah.
kind of Dorit like one of her sisters.
Yeah, she's like, I don't like confrontation, but like you just like to have confrontation about non-factual things. Like not
Hmm.
the real things.
Yep.
All right, so Real Housewives of OC, um, the reunion, right? So I don't know. What did you think? It was
It was,
alright.
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, I feel, okay. So going back to the reunion, let's think. Obviously Shannon was the star of the reunion. Alexis was on a whole nother level of, I don't know. She's so cringe with how she blindly defends these men that she barely knows. But she's like that with every man that she's with. She did it with Jim
Yeah,
Bellino. I saw her on Below Deck with some guy that she was engaged to. She was like jumping on him and so into him. That didn't work out. Now she's with John Jansen. So I don't know. Bravo knew what they were doing bringing her on. And I feel like Shannon did pretty good on the reunion, though. Like, she really called her out and she had some great points. And I loved how she was like, oh, yeah, you've been a TV star for 15 years. I took your spot. I've been on this show for 10 years. Like, and I was like, this bitch just called her out. Like,
yeah.
I just, I loved it.
I think poor. I mean, do they? I'm assuming they watch all the episodes before the reunion.
I don't know.
So, and even if they didn't, they see enough clips. I feel like Alexis could have reflected a little bit and like saved how to redemption on the reunion and been like, listen, do I regret anything? Yeah, I regret that I'm acting like I was part of your relationship and I wasn't. I'm obviously going by the things he tells me. So for that I regret inserting myself. Like she should have said something because it's like she keeps doubling down. She looks
I know.
crazy with receipts and screenshots and it's just like you're not understanding. You weren't part of the relationship. So stop acting you weren't there. Like
Yeah, but forensic accounting, and I think they like showed it. Somebody like dug it up, and it was like basically just a spreadsheet of certain things that he owed or she owed, and I just feel like all of that. I understand if I feel like if she, and I still don't understand why this is such a big deal. I mean, I'm like, at the end of the day, a boyfriend gave his girlfriend money
yeah.
and needed to pay it back, but to take her to court, especially, it's interesting how they filed all these things as soon as the cameras came up. So those two are just thirsty. And
And her
Alexis,
excuse was the statute of limitations.
right, right. So yeah, I don't know. The
Between
whole,
a girlfriend and boyfriend, even a husband and wife, your money's gone. You give money to your significant other, unless there's like a document that you loan them money, that's it. It's
right,
not. And again, like Shannon said, like there's so many expenses throughout all the years that they were together.
yeah,
You can't possibly like know who owes what because you're not supposed to owe anyone anything. Like you're taking a risk and that's
yeah,
it. Like, and then it was funny when when Shannon was like, he was telling me I love you like 3 months before he met you. Like we were still like hooking up and doing all that stuff. Like stop acting because Alexis, remember she kept saying
yeah.
they were F buddies or friends with benefits, and they're like, you can't call them friends with benefits. Like they dated for years.
Yeah, they like broke up in September, and then they were still seeing each other, traveling to, so they were like in a messy time right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were still together. Clearly they were still
Yeah.
together. They were doing all this stuff, making appearances together. It's like they were still together.
Yeah.
She's so I hope they don't bring her back because she's just, it was an interesting season, but I just feel like we need to close the door on that. Okay, what did you think about how they met up at was it Shannon's house or who, no, I think it was somebody's house that they met up afterwards, and then Heather and Tamra tell Shannon
Which
what
was
happened at the,
weird that they
that,
showed that after.
I just feel like they were on this little redemption tour, Heather and Tamra, because they were like, oh, we need to make good. They were totally against Shannon most of that season. And I just thought that was interesting what they told her. And I'm still confused by all of that. So I guess John really did hear the accident or didn't.
Yeah. I don't understand. I don't understand either. And what's the significance of it? Again, she obviously was driving drunk. She obviously went to his house. He obviously took care of her. I mean, what is their point?
Yeah,
Like, what are they trying to prove?
I have no
How
idea.
awful it was? I
Yeah,
mean, obviously it was awful.
just a messy situation. I think what happened was too is John was trying not to, maybe they were trying not to get people involved or police involved, that kind of thing. But I still don't understand the whole thing. I just think it's who came out later on and they pulled up the cameras for that. I'm like, what is going on here?
I
Like,
know. I know. Oh my God. So Jen and Emily. I thought Jen was like Dorit, she was being a rock star at the reunion. She came prepared. She's like defending her relationship and all that stuff. And she wasn't just sitting there like, because she's so sweet and like subdued. Emily was so annoying this season.
I
I
know.
mean, the way she was and she's another one that she thinks that she could be super aggressive to people for no
Mhm.
reason. And that makes like, and everyone else has to like stop talking and like cower down. And no, like, no. So when when Emily was fighting with her about like whatever Ryan's like involvement with that Vegas stuff or his friend, Emily was like, I heard this, I heard that, I heard this. She's like, well, I heard your in-laws pay for your life. And did you see Emily just like, she just didn't know what to say. She was dumbfounded. And it was so magical. I
I
loved
love,
it.
I was so happy when she said that. I was like, oh shit.
I loved it because she's like, if they paid for this, it's like I would be doing all these things. It's like, well, maybe that's not true. Maybe they pay for your life, and that's why you live the way you live. Maybe you couldn't live in that house, or maybe. I mean, because what does Emily do? Does she have a job?
What does she do? No, she doesn't. She was a lawyer and then she got into party planning, and that's how, which is like
Oh, okay.
that's something that's like a hobby, especially for like
Well,
people
if
that,
she gets paid.
well, yeah, but I don't think she does that anymore since she's been on the show. But that's how she met a lot of the girls. Like she knew Gretchen from OC. Like that's how she kind of got into the
I
circle.
know. I wonder if their income is just her being on the show. Like, what does her husband do? Is he a
He
lawyer?
I don't know. I think that he might be working because remember it took him like 10 years to pass the bar. So
I kind of think her in-laws do pay for their life.
she did not she did not say that that's not true. So I
Exactly. Exactly. They do pay for her life. I'm sorry. They pay for her life. So she got whatever. What do you call that?
got
She
basically
got checked.
like good for Emily. Like if your in-laws pay for your life, so be
Yeah.
it. But it's
Yeah.
like he can't be coming at Jen about all this stuff. She was like on fire at the reunion, which not in a good way. It was more like she was just coming in so hot, and it was like I don't understand. Like some of it was okay, but then I was like, she needs to tone it down. Like she
She
was
acts like a Miss Know It All, and she acts like she's smarter than everyone. I hate when people with degrees act like, I'm sorry, there's a lot of stupid doctors, lawyers, police, like all these people with degrees, they could be stupid too. That
yeah,
has nothing to do with anything or common sense or intelligence. Like, I hate when they act like that, just like that alone blanket say, like that just means like you're smarter than everyone. It's like, stop it. Even when
yeah.
Alexis was like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, she's like, you shut the F up. You're the dumbest person. And it's like, everything's about I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm like, I don't
Well,
like
then
it.
when she flies off the handle and she's so angry, she looks really stupid. You
Right.
know, she goes from being like, I have all the facts and blah, 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 blah,
Mhm.
to then shut the fuck up. Like freaking out on people because they said Tweedledee or Tweedledum when she could have
Which
just,
is a sign of not unintelligence, right? Because you can't keep your cool. And then when she loses her cool, she blames it on her childhood.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like you can't win with her. It's like, come on, you're just a hothead, and that's not our problem.
I know. There's a lot going on with Emily. I think I like Emily, but I'm also like, girl, you need to calm down. Like, you're just too much. Too much.
Yeah, I wonder if she's an Aries. What's her sign?
Oh, no. You know, the moon's in Aries today. It's
Oh,
it's Aries energy today, which is
that's
good.
me.
That's you.
Wait,
What?
so Katie, I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah.
But Katie's a compulsive liar. And I already said this last time we talked. Like, you could tell she just makes crap up and she goes in circles. But because her demeanor is so calm, it's
Yeah.
hard to like really like get on her. But
Yeah.
she, I mean, that story of that guy, that road rage or whatever, that's crazy. And everyone's coming at Heather and the other one for looking it up. But it's like, she's lying on me. I'm going to see what this girl's about, and that's what they found. And then she lied in the story because first it's like, well, this happened on the road, and then, well, how did she end up at his house? Oh, well, that
Yeah.
happened in front of his house. It's like, I thought you didn't follow him home.
Did you catch how she was like, no, that's not what happened. I didn't follow him to his house. And then they've said, well, yeah, neighbors saw you. And she's like, I didn't see any neighbors. So you were in the neighborhood. So you did
Yes,
follow him. She totally like gave it up. And so, yes, I think she's a compulsive liar.
yes,
You know what I don't like about Katie is she's hard as a housewife because she's very composed. So like
yes.
she's not very reactive. Those type of housewives or people that come on the show sometimes kind of like a what's her name from Beverly Hills that just got fired. I can't think of her name. But anyways, she's just very composed. So then they bring these women on too that have things from their past that they can't really talk about. Like I feel like Katie can't talk about her divorce. And I
Yeah.
that I'm like, we need to know the details. We want to
And
know.
also, what did she say? She left her husband and he had custody of the kids temporarily while she lived in a hotel. But like, why did she have to live like that if his money's her money? So why
Yeah,
was she so broke?
it's weird. Her story is I want to know more about it, but I feel like she can't talk about it. I feel like there's legal stuff there that she can't talk
There's no
about.
legal thing saying you can't talk about your divorce.
Just seems odd.
And also, like her daughter's behavior is really bad too. So she obviously
Oh,
learned that from her mom, like telling
all the
little kids things and gossiping with little kids or babysitting. Like, what are you doing?
yeah. Now I feel like okay, I feel like she did say all those things
Mhm.
and the kids because at first I was a little bit on her side or her
Yeah.
daughter. Now that this is all coming out and she's like making these TikToks about the housewives. Like all the women were like, oh, if that was my daughter, I don't care how old she is, I would have told her, take that shit down right now.
Yeah.
All of them said that. And Katie was like, I don't know. I don't know. And I'm like, oh, you're perpetuating this is what you're doing. It's terrible.
We're reading a book right now. It's called The Last Party, and it's so juicy. And when I tell you the main character is batshit crazy, and I'm here for it, it's kind of like a Katie thing because it's almost like they put on this thing, and it's like she didn't do that. There's no way, like no way, like oh my god, like she can't be that much of a liar. No, but she is all these things and worse. It's like there's something there. Like I think she's like a compulsive liar, and she has like sinister stuff in her.
Yes. And I did not see that coming at all. I was like, oh my God, with this reunion. That was probably the best part of the reunion. The Alexis and Shannon stuff is secondary to that. Because
Yes.
This is amazing. So I feel like they should keep Katie on because I need to see more of this, craziness.
I don't want her to come back, but I wish Andy would have I wish Andy would have pushed more. Like, who told you about, like, you didn't prove the paparazzi thing. So where's your proof?
Yeah.
You literally made that up. And a text message of somebody texting you, yeah, she did it. That's not proof.
Yeah.
Who was that? Where's the proof?
I wonder why she came in because to me, it just is not very smart. You've watched these shows before. You don't come in and start shit with one of the housewives that you're not friends with right off the bat. It kind of is reminding me, it's kind of reminding me of, who's the new one on, of Bronwyn a little bit on Salt Lake. It's kind of like, I'm going to come in and I'm going to fight with these women where it's like, you really need to be friends with these girls first. And then
if you get in an organic fight, like if something actually happens that you have an actual fight, then that's one thing. But like, you're just pushing it on them for no reason.
You're bringing up something from last season that you heard of. I don't understand that. Who cares?
I know.
Anyways.
Oh my God. So Vicky was on Vile Files, the podcast Vile Files. Did you see the whole debacle?
No.
Okay, so she apparently
I saw that. Where she hung up?
Well, she was scheduled to be on the show for however many weeks. She gets on the call virtually. She's in Mexico.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't really want to do. Oh my God, my team was supposed to cancel and they couldn't cancel. I don't know who was in charge of canceling. I don't even want to do this. And everyone at the Vile Files are like, so we're happy to see you. Like, how's it going? And she's like, I hate being here. And then so whatever. So they start the interview or whatever. And when it's done, she doesn't hang up properly. And they're listening to her say, I don't know who this Vile guy is. And I guess he has 7 million followers. I've never heard of him. They said they got her permission to air that. Like they didn't do it without her permission because that would look really bad on them and no one would trust them. But she was like in on the joke and she's like, oh, well, what she said wasn't that bad. She could have said worse.
Yeah.
And she is crazy.
She's nuts. She is insane. But I'm here for it. I'm here for Vicky being crazy. Although I don't want her.
No.
That would be.
I put Vicky in the old housewife of New York category. I'm just over those ladies. I don't want to see them anymore. I'm done.
Her and Ramona, they can be on an island somewhere by themselves.
Speaking of divorces and stuff with Kyle and Mauricio, you know who else is married and won't get divorced because of money? Dave Portnoy.
Who's that?
The Barstool owner of Barstool.
Oh. He
adopted Miss Peaches, the pit bull, and it's like she's all famous now. And
oh, okay.
He had a public feud with Kim Kardashian and whatever. Oh. He has a podcast with Brianna Chicken Fry. Do you know who she is?
Oh yeah.
The BFF podcast. Yeah. So he's been married this entire time, and he says his ex-wife is like his best friend, and they don't get divorced because of the money.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
And she has full access to all his money.
Wow. Yeah, he'd rather stay married to her and make.
Why? I think that's insane. It's
because
like,
this is what
you know why I think he does it? Because he doesn't want to get remarried, and it's his excuse to not be able to get married again.
That too.
I don't think it has anything to do with money. That guy can get divorced in a heartbeat. The girl has access to his money anyway. She probably uses more than if he gave it to her. He could give her the money and get divorced and be done with it. That's toxic. Yeah. That is so toxic. And to do that to people you date, especially when you're dating young, impressionable women, because you won't date your own age.
Yep.
It's dysfunctional, toxic.
That's what Mo's going to be doing. And that's what he's doing now. He's doing exactly that. And I feel like he'll stay married to Kyle for a long time. And maybe that's partly why Sutton's like, you need to file. But she won't. Kyle won't. Because she doesn't want it. And I think she wants to get back with him. I really do.
You think?
Well, I
Yeah.
do feel like they shouldn't. I
No.
just, maybe she's holding on to some kind of hope. I don't know.
Yeah. A lot of people are coming out saying it looks like she would be open to it, and he's like out the door. He's like done.
I think he's done. And I think he just wants to have fun. Like he wants to smoke weed all day and he wants to be with all these hot girls that are at the agency. Cause, it's sad to say, but that's what men do after a while. They go, "Oh, I'm sick of the wife that I had for 30 years and I'm going to go, I have all these millions. He has all this money. He has all this fame and now he's like, I just going to be with the 25-year-olds." So,
I just think it's so crazy. Like, you have that much money. You guys are successful. Like, she should get off the show and like travel with her husband and be like the hot wife.
right.
Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why choose this life instead of like just dedicating your life to your relationship and you have all the money in the world and like just be happy?
Yeah. I think too, because people have more problems than they realize. And then they get on these shows and it's magnified. And so that's why literally aren't all the women divorced on Beverly Hills now? Like there's
That's
not one.
another thing. It's called Real Housewives. Hello? They're supposed to be
There's not one
housewives.
wife on that show. There's not. Well, Kyle's holding on by a thread. So
It's so true. It's like single people in Beverly Hills.
yeah, it's like Bethany Frankel on Real Housewives of New York. She's not really a housewife, but she was there. She was hilarious though. So
Bethany was here for Art Basel. I saw all her videos because we had
yeah,
Art Basel this week with
yeah.
major traffic.
Did you see her? Because I was seeing all of her posts in Miami.
I didn't go because
Yeah,
I've gone so many times. I'm like,
yeah.
whatever.
Been there.
Yeah, I skipped it this year. I went to my book club instead.
Good for you. You gotta stay up on your book club.
Oh my God. So, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City,
Mm-hmm.
the Bronwyn and Todd of it all. If she
Yeah,
comes back next season, they're either going to get divorced
yeah,
or he's going to be like, I want no part of it. Like, you do your thing.
yeah,
Because they can't have it both ways. I am so sorry. But these past episodes that he literally pulls her aside and talks to her like she's 5 years old, it makes me so uncomfortable. It's not like, when you're with someone, even regardless of the age difference, like you want to feel like you're on the same playing field, like your peers, like you're
right.
a team. And this feels so grandfather, daughter, not even father. It's almost like he's like,
Yeah,
just don't do that. Just walk away. It's just like, it's so insane.
yeah.
Because the first time he did it, it's like, okay, maybe he's not used to being on camera. He had an off day, but like, it's a thing.
It's a thing. I think we're gonna learn more about it as they go forward, or if they come back next season. But like, I haven't figured them out just yet, and I feel like you're right, where it's kind of like this. We don't know if he's just uncomfortable with all of it because let's be honest, it's an uncomfortable thing. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not have these fights. So I think
But I feel like if you're that uncomfortable, you could just don't say anything.
not. Yeah, not say anything or don't film. And no, I agree. So for him to have, this, feeling of, okay, I'm going to go up to her and say these things on camera when you could just not,
Just don't.
there
Like,
must be some kind of dynamic there when
it's
it,
to the point that when I see him on my screen, I'm like, I don't want to see what's going on. I'm just like, oh my God, daddy's upset. Like, I can't. Like, oh my God, grandpa's upset. Like, I can't. Like, his
yeah,
energy is so serious.
yeah,
It's intimidating.
yeah.
And I don't want to watch it. I'm like scared for my life.
I could never, and for her to be as strong as she is, or that she portrays herself to be, I'm shocked because I could never be with somebody like that that's telling me how to be. But I'm thinking, why did they sign up for this? He must have known. It's not like this is the first of.
I know. And they've been friends with Lisa and her husband, and it's not like he's never heard of it. Like, come on. He's a smart guy. He's not going to sign up for something he doesn't look into.
Yeah. Bronwyn's interesting. I like watching her, but I feel like, why are you fighting with Heather? It's the same thing, like coming in hot like Katie. Why are you coming in here and you're fight? And I know you got to mix it up, and I know she has to be truthful.
But at least Bronwyn, when she's fighting with Heather, at least as opposed to Katie from OC, Katie just came at Heather without Heather's involvement. I feel
Right.
like Bronwyn at least is engaging with Heather and they're disagreeing on what they're talking about. So at least there's some substance there.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's just coming at her for no reason. It's like they're engaging and it happens. So
Yeah.
I give Bronwyn a pass because she's being authentic because it's like real conversations. She's just
Yeah.
like being a little too much about it. But Heather is too.
Heather is too, but Heather's kind of like, okay, why? I just feel like she's not playing her cards right, Bronwyn. I'm like, you need, and then Lisa too. I'm like, you're fighting with Lisa. Lisa is, your direct line to this show. Like, why are you fighting with, the person that's bringing you into all this? You just have to play the game right. So I
I
don't know.
definitely think her anger towards Lisa is misplaced because I don't think Lisa's done anything to her. Just
She has,
because she tried to be there for Heather, that's really what she's upset about.
and
And
then
I
she,
almost feel it almost connects her and Todd's dynamic because she needs so much validation from Todd and she gets so disappointed when she disappoints him. I
yeah,
feel like that's happening with Lisa, that because Lisa validated Heather's feelings to her, that's unvalidating herself. And it's almost like tied in to her dynamic with her husband.
yeah,
Right?
that was, yes, I agree with that was good, Lisa.
Thanks. I watched too much of this crap, but
That's part of the experience is we like the human behavior and we like to see that and kind of, think about it and see how people interact with each other. So that's
because her anger with Lisa there's zero like foundation substance. Like what did she do to you? Oh, you were there for Heather. Oh, you didn't like when she asks her a question and she doesn't answer fast enough. She's like, oh, I know what you mean already because you didn't answer in 5 seconds. It's like she wants Lisa's validation so bad. And
yeah,
when remember in the confessional, she's like, I don't think there's anything worse than Todd being disappointed in me.
yeah.
That's wild. I can think of so many worse things.
I know, right? And so you see that like grandpa father relationship and the same with Lisa where it's like where she's asking her, "Do you think I'm two-faced?" And Lisa's kind of like, "Yeah, I do." And she was like, hounding her about it and hounding and it's like you're going to be honest with everyone else, but you don't want anyone to be honest with you. So,
But she values Lisa because they were actual friends before
yeah,
this. So it's so hurtful towards her because of how her dynamic with the validation thing. It has to do with the validation thing. Also, when Todd was at the table and they brought up the daughter and Todd shut it down, that's so rude. Like, how can someone with so much money not have any etiquette? Like, you can
right,
shut it down without telling everyone to shut up. Like, you could just be
right.
like, yeah, it's a delicate subject. Like, I'd rather not talk about it. Like, just be like cool about it and people will lay off. It's like, I really appreciate if you guys respect that this is too sensitive a subject. Let's move on to something else or something. Like, he literally told everyone to shut up. He's like,
I,
stop talking now. I won't
I
allow it.
it's kind of like a Tom Girardi. It
Yeah.
reminds me of that. It reminds me of this. I have money. I'm in charge. You shut up. And this is, I feel like that's how he talks to Bronwyn too behind this. And you see it on camera too. You see this like, so I think it's very similar to like a Tom Girardi. I think he's kind of like that. And we're going to probably see more of it coming
And
up.
I
So
think Bronwyn probably wants to be on the show because I don't know if she worked. Probably not, right?
I think she worked in the same like kind of field that he was in. Obviously she wasn't as successful, but I think that's how they met.
No,
But
throughout their marriage though, has she been working?
now I don't think so. I'm sure
So
she got married.
she might have like projects or charities, and she probably does things with her time, but she probably wanted something for herself. Since I think it's important, even if it's a part-time job, to have something that you do that's on your own. And she probably has a show to fill that void. So she's probably like, "You're not gonna mess this up for me, so I'm gonna keep being messy, and you're just gonna have to deal with it." And she's probably finding her voice like Dorit,
Yep.
and we'll see where that goes. But everyone's saying that $4 million necklace from her birthday, that's probably for the show, and it was probably like a loaner.
Oh, for sure. I was like, is that really like, are they really buying? There's no way. There's
No,
absolutely, even
I'm
people like,
sorry. Who I would never want a $4 million necklace. I would sell it right away and like put the money in the bank. What am I going to do with that? Am I ever going to wear it? No.
you're not going to wear it because you'd be too afraid to either,
Yeah.
stolen or somebody
Yeah.
come to, or losing it. I would never wear something like
I'm not
that.
going to die because of a piece of jewelry on my body. Like, that's insane. I would never. I don't see the point of all these expensive jewelries.
A lot of that was for show.
Yeah.
We all, yep.
So when they went on their honey or their anniversary trip, and so Lisa's meltdown with the private the first class ticket,
Yeah.
I have to say I was shocked that Lisa would behave so poorly.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing for her.
It was.
I haven't flown coach since high school. Like that is not a flex. That you sound crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's not okay. And it's a 50-minute flight or something.
Yeah, it was so cringy. And did you see how she's like, I haven't flown coach or worn coach in since high school. And then Bronwyn comes out and is like, I think it was Bronwyn, and she was like, I think she's like doing something with Coach now, where she was like, she's like partnered with them somehow because Coach found out about it, and they're like, okay, like that
Yeah.
was a really bad comment to make because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
just,
What's wrong with coach? They have beautiful items. I love coach.
I do too. I do
Yeah.
too.
No, but it's like it's arrogant.
Yeah.
It's like you're talking. It's like what's the point of having money if you're going to become an asshole?
I know.
And coach, some people can't even afford coach, and you're like just saying this to all your viewers and your fans. Like
Yep.
it's such a bad move. And then also like when she was like, her husband was even like, you really are gonna like spend less time with your kids because you won't get on this freaking flight. Like, are you stupid? She wanted to fly to another place,
Mm-hmm.
have a layover just so she could be in first. Who? That's insane. So that showed me something about Lisa I was not expecting because I thought that was ridiculous. But I also thought like if they're on the show and this is a trip for the show, aren't they supposed to be paying for their flights back?
I've heard that a lot of times the show doesn't pay for their stuff.
If
So,
it's yes, if it's on air, they pay for the travel.
okay.
It's airtime.
What I gathered from the trip was that Bronwyn obviously chartered the private jet, and so they did that. And then I was like, why did you not just take a private jet back? But
Right.
they did what they did. But I have heard from some other people that have talked about it, that have been on the shows, that Bravo doesn't always pay for things. Doesn't mean that they don't pay for some things, but I think sometimes when they do these trips, they don't. So I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it was so bad how Lisa came off. I think everyone was like, ugh, I'm sure most of the viewers were like, oh my God, this is not, this is,
That was just like when she didn't want someone to do her makeup for Whitney's trip back in the day for the drag queen show, like in Palm Springs. Like she didn't want her to touch her face because she brought her own glam team. It's like you're crying over the dumbest shit. Like this is insane. Like you sound like such a spoiled brat.
I love how they always show her getting her makeup done and she looks awful.
Yes, and her fake tan is so bad. I just saw her. Was it the Miami thing? Like her fake tan was so bad. It's like it doesn't match her skin. Like it's way too dark a shade.
I know.
Yeah.
So a little
So
payback.
Lisa, get it together, like
Mhm.
crazy. And then Meredith, her bar mitzvah, bar mitzvah. Okay, Meredith's bar mitzvah was funny. Her coming in the carriage was ridiculous, but okay, fine. I think Meredith is so beautiful. Like as a woman, she's so pretty.
Yeah.
Her family's so beautiful. Um, so it was sweet, but like, and then Mary showing up late and looking in the window. She's like Kathy Hilton.
Yeah.
Okay, so that we'll go back to Mary, but so Brittany and Angie get in this argument at the bar mitzvah, and Angie's comment on Brittany's body count and her hair has high body count, she won the year for me. I don't even like Angie that much. I
Yeah.
think she's a little like hard to read and she doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. She takes things too far. Her saying your hair has high body count, it's giving high body count was so funny. I thought that was so clever. I loved it.
Was slut shaming her, right? I mean,
Well, again, Angie is she doesn't read the room. I feel like she's not connected to other people when she has a conversation. That's why I
yeah.
go left all the time. But also, and Whitney's kind of like that. But when she was, all that Brittany said was, if she's calling me a slut, that must mean she's a slut. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not her calling Angie a slut. That's her defending herself of Angie calling her a slut. And Angie took that comment and tore her to pieces.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, did you not make the connection? Like she wasn't even calling you a slut. Like that's why Angie's a little off, I feel.
Yeah.
But her comments were very funny.
Yeah.
I thought that body count thing.
Yeah. And Brittany, I think she wanted so bad to be on the show, but it didn't land very well with her. She's just kind of all over the place. So
I like Brittany. I think she's entertaining. I think she needs therapy for the boy stuff.
yeah,
But I felt bad for her because she started to cry. Um, but Meredith kicking Angie out with the security was a little over the top. Don't you think?
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I think it was too much.
Security. Security. Anyways,
Brought her the wrong coat. That was funny.
okay, Mary and her son. Mary and her son, her conversation with her son that has a drug problem. I felt like I was watching something I shouldn't be watching. I do appreciate for if it helps people out there, but I don't think that's something that should be aired for his benefit. I mean, I know it benefits people watching, but like I think that was pretty crazy.
I cried. I was boohoo crying.
Yes.
Afterwards, I don't think I could watch it again.
No.
What I happened was she went into this thinking that her son was going to say like, oh, I've been smoking too much pot. And then it turned into him being I think he was high. And I think he was just completely honest
I
in that
agree
moment.
with you. I don't think she realized what that conversation was going to be. And then it just happened.
Yeah.
So sad. It gave me anxiety. Like, what do you do? Like, oh,
And for a mother to hear that, I mean, and it's not, I mean, and for him to say, I haven't killed myself because of you. I mean, I just started crying. I'm like, oh my
I
God.
would just chain him to the bed for at least 6 months. I'm like, you're not leaving the house.
Yeah.
You're gonna sleep in here until you wake up on the other side of this bullshit because I can't handle it.
He needs a good rehab. She can afford it. And also, I just don't think she knows what's going on with him. So I wish her and him the best. But I like seeing that side of Mary. I think this season I've liked Mary for the first time. She's participating. She's being, she's showing a vulnerable side to her, even though it was almost like, oh my God, we go from nothing to this. Holy crap.
Well, I think because she had that church and apparently it was like cultish and like money sucking. So I think because that went down and maybe I think she's separated from the guy. Where is he? Right?
He's not around.
So he's gone, and then her son. I think life has like woken her up and come down on her. So she's had to be like it's humbled her. So I think that's what we're seeing now, which is great because I didn't like what we were seeing before. So yeah, it's great. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I think that's it for this week. Maybe we'll do a reality recap less than 4 weeks from now, so it's not so much content.
Yeah. Yeah, because we went way over an hour.
Oh my God, we did. Okay, so
so much to talk about.
I know. Yeah. So that's all we have. We'll see you next time. Bye.